There's a silver lining on the horizon. Silver with another monster day, 2 days in a row now. And we're starting to see structural changes in the silver price. Very important video today because we're going to talk about the levels we need to pay attention to in silver, but more importantly, we need to adjust our strategy now to what is happening in silver. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day. My name is Daniel Wilhelmi, and we got a really interesting and important video for you today talking about silver, but more specifically talking about adjusting strategy. That's one of the big problems that a lot of private investors are struggling with, that I am still struggling with myself every now and then. And we're going to talk obviously about the levels and what's really going on in the silver market. But while I have you here, some quick housekeeping notes. First, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, takes you 1 second. You don't miss any of the videos like the one that's gonna come out on Saturday, where we take a look at the weekly charts of gold and silver. Very, very important, based on the developments of the past 2 days. And then also on Saturday, I'm gonna do a special video for a VIP newsletter, which by the way is free. You can sign up for it for free. The link is in the comments, or you can go to bullmarketlifestyle.com and sign up. It's free. We're not gonna spam you. Instead, you're gonna get videos, like on average about like 1 to 2 a month, where we talk about topics that we don't address on the channel. For example, this weekend, we're gonna talk about the agricultural commodities, which have been ripping. Nobody's talking about this, including me. Why? Because it's too small for YouTube. People don't care. But you should, and you're now gonna have a chance on Saturday to see what's going in with the ags. Again, just sign up for the free newsletter. With that, let's get right into it. Silver. Wow! What happened in the past 2 days? I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't see this one coming. Not with this furious 2-day rally. And this is clearly a short squeeze, but it is a short squeeze that is now starting to lead to structural changes in the silver chart. And that's important for us to understand. So, and that was my mistake. I looked at the charts and the analysis was, I believe, very good and very solid. I've been pretty much on top of the correction phase that we have been going through in gold and silver. But here's the thing that I didn't pay enough attention to, and that was sentiment. And that one is on me, because I was looking at the long-term price targets and outlooks for silver, and people are still quite bullish on silver. Obviously, fundamentals are outstanding. But I didn't pay enough attention to short-term sentiment, which was extremely negative for gold and silver. And clearly, major players were massively short gold and silver. That was probably the trade. Remember, for example, hedge funds, they usually like to do long-short positions at the same time to create the alpha that they then want to get the big bonuses. And that's just blowing up in their face. There got to be a lot of short sellers in the commodity market and in the hedge fund market that are walking around like cowboys on the trading floors because they just pooped in their pants. And we're talking Mexican chili type of size. So, with that, let's see here what is going on. We see in silver a structural change. What does that mean? Now, up until Tuesday, the world for the people, that were calling for lower silver prices or were short silver was good. Wasn't great. Gold was looking even weaker, and we're going to talk about this in a second, but it looked great. And then obviously Trump came out with his latest announcement on Iran, and everything has been going crazy. So first things first, why did gold look worse than silver? Well, let me switch to the gold price real quick. By the way, it looks great as well, but not as good as silver. The first warning sign that the bears had to pay attention to is that gold made, as you can see here, a new low on the close on Monday compared to this most recent low last Wednesday. Silver, here's the Monday chart, didn't make a new low. It made a higher low. Here's last Wednesday. So we made a higher low in silver. It did not follow the gold market in terms of the technical analysis and the chart, the sell-off. But here's what's really changing now. And that is we broke this downtrend right here, and we broke about the 50-day, this purple line that you see right here, today. If this holds, not only did we break above the 50-day, and we broke the second downtrend. Again, as you saw, we broke the first downtrend in April, and it led to a nice up move that then got us to the 50-day, and we got doinked here and went back down. But now we're above the 50-day, and we're breaking the downtrend. That is the interesting part, right? We need to confirm this. We never confirmed this breakout above the 50-day here. We confirmed this. That is the big structural change. The first big structural change that we're seeing is we are making higher lows, both on the short-term level, right? Last Wednesday through this Monday, higher low, and we already made higher highs on the short-term level, but also on the medium level now. Low, higher low. And if this holds today, or we go a little higher, we're going to make a higher high on the close. Important here is really this zone right here. Let me draw this in. It's about, yeah, this is it. Here we go. So this is what we need to pay attention to now. This is important. We close above it because this is the most recent high. So if we close above this zone right here, which is about $83, $83.50, then we also make a medium new high. And now, and this is the important part, the percentages of silver going up versus silver going down are changing. Not binary, not 100 to 0. And this is the important part. This is the strategy part that we're going to talk about today. That's really important for private investors. And I struggled with this for a long, long time myself. I'm not going to claim I'm some kind of Harry Potter wizard that gets everything right. What Wall Street does is they adjust their allocation based on probabilities and percentages of moves. And private investors usually are very binary. They're all in and all out. And that leads to them missing major up moves or major down moves or getting in early. And it then leads to them either jumping on a train way too late or taking up really risky positions because they're trying to make up for the missed gains of the past. So if we look at Tuesday, here, right? This candle right here. We're below the 50, we're below the downtrend. Yes, we didn't make a new low compared to last Wednesday. That's not great. But this chart doesn't look good at all. And we would say 75% will go down, 25% will go up. So now we're above the downtrend, we're above the 50-day. We made a higher low, short term and medium term, and we're very close to make a new higher high medium term. Short term, we already made it. So now things are basically shifted from 25% bullish, 75% bearish 2 days ago, and this is how fast markets move in today's world, to about 60% bullish, 40% bearish. And we need to adjust our strategy accordingly. Now, I haven't done this myself. I haven't bought any silver miners, and you know, if you follow this channel, I've been talking about I want to see the sell-off. I want to gobble up all the silver miners that I can get, all the gold miners. Haven't done so. I need to adjust now, right? The problem of a lot of private investors is they just look at these developments and they say, well, the Schnitzel guy said the silver price is going to go down, so okay, I'll wait, I don't do anything, right? Or it looked so good for me if I was waiting for lower silver prices to get in on the silver market. Now we have this run up, I'll just wait this out. Yes, yesterday, if you would have said you wait this out yesterday, that is fine, because that was this candle and we're still below the 50-day. So this whole structural pattern was still intact. We're still in the downtrend. So this whole structural bearish pattern, which led to a 75% we're going to go down in silver, was intact. But with today's move, that is not the case anymore. And we need to adjust to that. As soon as I finish this video, I am on to my homework looking at the silver miners. Because I need to adjust now to the more bullish structural situation that is developing in silver. And here's what's going to happen to the people that don't do this and don't do their homework. They're not going to start adding positions here. They're not going to start adding positions when we go to 85. They're not going to start adding positions when we break above 95, 96, which would be the overall completion of this consolidation phase. They're going to say, this is too fast, we're going to go down, ignoring we made higher lows, we made higher high, we have a change in structure, and then at 100 and 110, they're like, oh man, I can't believe I missed this move. Now I got to get in with 5x, 8x, 10x leverage on silver long to make up for all this up move that I missed out on because I just was not adjusting my strategy to the change in structure. And again, I'm not saying, this is again, we're talking about this a minute ago, I'm not saying go 100% in. There's still a 40% chance that we're going to go lower in silver. What I'm saying is adjust your strategy, find the mining stocks that you want that haven't completely ripped, and start maybe building out a position there if that's what you think is the right thing to do. I think that's the right thing to do, but I'm not your financial advisor. So I'm excited for the new Star Wars movie coming out. I bought tickets for Star Wars Celebration yesterday in LA. What does that say about my competence to be your financial advisor? But anyway, if you're at Star Wars Celebration next year in LA, we'll see us there. But I don't want to be the person that doesn't have any additional silver exposure, which I really want because you know my long-term price target on silver in this bull market is $500. And if you missed that video, hit the subscribe button so that doesn't happen to you again, and you can find that video in the archive. So I want exposure to silver. Now we're seeing a structural change. Yes, I would have loved for silver to go down to 64 or maybe the area of the uptrend, the green uptrend that you see here, that would have been around 56, 55. I was never a big supporter, you know this, of the complete meltdown of silver all the way back to 50. Yes, that was possible if you looked at the major long-term technical breakout levels, but the fundamentals are way too strong for silver, especially after what's happening at the Strait of Hormuz and what I expect the revival of solar energy and the solar boom around the world, which obviously is great for silver fundamentals. And the China story, where China is buying up and storing silver. They're actually importing silver. Again, did a video on this. Subscribe button so you don't miss any of these videos. I highly recommend you watch, by the way, that video on China's strategy. It's really important to understand this commodity super cycle and to understand how you're going to make the most profits in it. Silver is definitely one of these commodities where you have the possibility to make the most profits, but you got to adjust to structural changes. I have to too. I would have loved for silver to go down to $65, to $60, gobble up the silver miner, sit here, do a victory lap, and told you how brilliant I am. The market had other plans. The stock market is like life. You get dealt the cards you get dealt, and then you play the best you can with the hand you got. 48 hours ago, if you were a silver bear, life was great. Today, if you're a silver bear, you're in trouble, and you need to adjust your strategy accordingly. Or if you're a silver bull, like we are here, you need to adjust your strategy and say, okay, there is a possibility that this was the end of the correction. And if you remember, if you follow this channel, I called the intermediate high in silver and in gold and told you, I want to say a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that I expect the gold price to break out of this consolidation in the summer, probably in June. Well, we already have May. We're not that far off anymore. And the one black spot in the market that nobody is really positioned for, except for the silver bucks like us and the gold bucks like us, is what if gold and silver rip now? You don't hear anything. You hear silver's going to go down to 50. Silver's going to go down to 64, right? Exhibit A. You hear that a lot. You do not hear silver is going to rip now and it's going to go to 100 and then 120. If you have a black spot in the market like this, you need to pay attention to it. Especially with silver, we know how fast this can go with the short squeeze of the institutions that are short in silver. We just saw it in the past 48 hours. So I need to adjust my strategy. I'm going to look at the silver miners that I like, and I'm going to have to start holding my nose and start buying a position. Fully aware that I might run face first into a buzzsaw and be down with that silver stock 20%. Because the 40% bearish scenario for silver hits, and then obviously I'm down. But what happens if the 60% of the bullish scenario for silver hit? When we see the structural change complete, well, at least then I have a foot in the door and I'm making money on this. So this is where we stand. Pay very, very close attention to what's happening today. Again, we're going to talk about the weekly charts for gold and silver on Saturday. That'll be important to see. Pay attention to this new important resistance zone, which marks this high. That's why it's so important right now. That's really the most important thing. So $83. Do we close today and make a new high on the close compared to mid-April? That's the first thing. We're going to see that today or tomorrow. And then are we breaking, closing above 83? And then things are going to get really interesting really fast. Also, quick side note, platinum, talked about it yesterday, looks like it's triggering today. As you can see, we're breaking the downtrend. We're breaking about the 50-day. I gave you that one as an important level to take a look at. Platinum long. Again, you missed yesterday's show, hit the subscribe button. That is it for today. Have a great day. We're going to see us tomorrow. We're going to see us Saturday. If you're interested in what's going on in the ag sector, and man, some of these agricultural commodities are really moving, which A, not great because it means inflation is going to spike up, which B is great if you're long gold and silver, which C also means we're going to pay a lot more for our food, which D leads to, well, maybe we want to get in on the ag commodities and make some profit that way and offset the losses that we're going to suffer from paying more for our food in the supermarket and in the restaurants. Free for you if you subscribe to the newsletter. That's it for today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.